Welcome back to Meet You at Breakfast. I am Ben here with Julia and Brian to talk about episode number 6 of the Traitors US season 4. And I think we had a best episode of the season. I think consensus so
Definitely.
far.
Yeah, I can't believe it's already episode 6 too.
Yeah, about halfway
Flying,
through.
flying by.
Yeah, definitely best episode so far. Kind of bad vibes, but
Yeah.
well, I'm
most
hoping
definitely.
that now that Ron, I really like Ron, but now that
Mhm.
he's gone, there won't be
Mhm.
like one consensus person to ostracize, and we can get to a little bit better of like vibes, like I said.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. I was so sad for him when he was going around and he was like, I'm just gonna say all my goodbyes now. And I was like, oh, Ron, you poor thing. But whatever. It was your time, apparently. But that was probably the most chill part of the episode, honestly. There's just so much that happened in that one episode. And I have a lot of notes.
And it's even spilled over online. The
Mhm.
traders like accounts are saying stop being mean to somebody, but they won't say who. But I think we all know
Mhm.
who.
Yeah.
And
No.
very interesting.
Yeah, I a lot of my notes were about Colton, so I feel like we're gonna be spending a lot of time talking about him. Um, not not too happy with our with Colton. And I think that that's kind of the general consensus of America. I don't think people were happy with him when he was the Bachelor, after the Bachelor, and now because people are. I think I think the only person that thinks he's getting a good edit is Colton because he technically is getting a good edit, but I think everybody in the pop culture world that knows him knows how screwed up he has been in the past. So like people are just not falling for it and not giving him any kind of redemption arc because he does not deserve the Dylan Efron edit at all.
I don't know if I would say I'd say he's getting a prominent edit
Mhm.
off the back of him just playing like a really aggressive game.
Mhm.
And like that kind of necessitating him getting a prominent edit because he's so like involved in the story. I wouldn't necessarily call it a good edit though, right? Like
Mhm.
I would say like, Michael also got like a very prominent edit, but like I would definitely say also not a good edit.
Yeah, no, definitely. But Rappaport is just bonkers in general. So that's just him.
Yeah.
But
They got what we all expected them to get with these two,
yeah.
frankly. So
Yeah.
if they're upset that people are sounding off about their decisions online, 100% on them. We all knew who these people were when the cast was released. In fact, Ben, I remember people being pretty vocal about not wanting Michael Rappaport on the cast.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say both of them were like,
Mhm.
like the two big names that people were like, why are they here?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think they're probably gonna regret cast. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't know the minds of the producers, but I feel like it's kind of a 50-50 toss-up whether they regret casting Colton because he even though he is vile in his own ways, he's still bringing in a lot of viewers and a lot of talk about the show. So bad press isn't always bad press. So
Yeah.
I feel like it could go either way.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think like a part of it also comes from like the fact they haven't really like with Michael at least like he had the comment in the episode right before he got banished that
Mhm.
kind of like opened the door to a lot of the reasons why people were not happy that he was cast. But with Colton, like none of his past stuff that people reasonably dislike him for has really even been touched on or addressed at all on the show proper.
Yeah, and
You know,
I feel like people don't really know that unless they really, really tuned into his season because as far as they know, he was just the bachelor and it didn't work out with the girl that he picked
yeah.
because he's
Mhm.
obviously married to a man now. So like I think people I mean, I even pretty much forgot about everything that happened in his past until he got casted for the show and I was like, "Oh, right, I forgot that he did all of these things." So the cast is probably all finding out about it now, but I would be shocked if all of them knew this while they were filming because it was kind of something it happened many years ago now.
Like
So
five
it's
years
not
ago at this point.
yeah, it's not like super relevant. in today's pop culture, but it is resurfacing again now. Whereas I feel like he kind of did that. I feel like he tried to, get a redemption arc, but in doing that, people are pulling up all the weird stuff that he did in his past. So it's like, I don't think he really got the arc that he was aiming for coming on the show, but I don't know. I don't think he's necessarily deserving of it, but that's just a female perspective. So
yeah, we'll see how it plays out for the rest of the season.
Mhm.
Like, he's still there. Like, he's somehow, like, despite his gameplay, still like kicking, and like, it feels like it's building up to maybe him crashing and burning next episode, but who knows? And also, who knows? Like, we are going to get a reunion. So with people coming in for a reunion, where now they will at least be aware of his history, whereas perhaps most, if not all, of the cast seemingly wasn't aware of it during the actual filming of the game. Whether or not it'll come up at the reunion. So
yeah, whether or not he has the guts to show up to the reunion if things go poorly. So a lot of people are speculating that he's not going to show up to the reunion because the internet's trashing him. But I'm like,
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest.
He's a little bit of a narcissist, so I wouldn't expect him to not go. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But he well, I don't know. I guess we'll see how the next couple episodes go. But
yeah.
I think they were definitely planning on murdering him, but then they couldn't. So now they're kind of having to deal with him still. And I will say he's smart for catching on to Lisa, but Lisa's been awoken and she's going to not let him drag her name for sure.
Yeah, that was, I think, one of the better parts of the episode was Lisa being like, all right, you want me, here I am, I'm gonna come out and be myself. And I think the show will be better for it. From everything that I've heard, she's pretty entertaining. So
she's very entertaining. Yeah. But that's the thing, is like, she's made it. I mean, she's been making TikToks about it too, but like Housewives is like she was on the Housewives for many years, but it was a very small fraction of what her life is about. And so I think she was trying to explain that to him, that like, just because she was a housewife doesn't mean that that's how she acts all the time, because anyone who's seen Housewives knows that any of the housewives can get activated. And so it just happens. And like, and for him to be like, it's like it's a bit hypocritical of him to be like, oh, well, you're not acting. I saw someone say on TikTok, they're like, oh, Colton is a bit of a hypocrite for calling out Lisa for not acting how she did on the Housewives, when Colton is not acting how he did when he was the Bachelor. So it's like, you got to call a spade a spade. So I don't know. So I think, I mean, he's smart too, and I think he's dangerous going forward for the Traitors just because he is catching on. But I think it was really stupid of him to try to make that like deal with Lisa, and I think she's going to expose him for that for sure.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this deal, Brian? Because I have like mixed feelings on it.
I mean, it's a good like idea if, say you're Natalie and Jam was a traitor. Maybe you could make it happen. But I don't think you could make it happen with somebody who you're not that close to. Like if Colton had picked Rob out as a traitor, he probably could have made a deal like this. But it wasn't going to work with Lisa after, what was building through the whole episode. So not a bad idea to try it, but a bad idea to try it with this particular traitor.
Yeah. In theory, the idea was there. Execution, not great.
Yeah, I'll say I pretty much agree. I think that there's like a number of issues. Like, one, he'd already been like throwing her name out to basically like half the castle, and that had like obviously gotten back to her at this point. Which is like, you can't like take that back. Like that's kind of like a toothpaste out of the tube kind of scenario, where like you can't be like retroactively like, oh, actually never mind, I don't have any sus on Lisa anymore for reasons. Like that doesn't really, that's not gonna fly. And then like the only way this kind of a deal could hypothetically play out in like a symbiotic way is with her recruitment. That's the only end game for this kind of a deal.
Yep.
And in order for somebody to be recruited, like if you're a traitor, you want to recruit somebody like either for two reasons. One, to throw them under the bus, to like just feed the faithfuls a traitor, basically. Or to recruit somebody that you trust that you can actually like work an endgame with. And if you have no relationship, like prior like established relationship with a person, then like and you're basically approaching the deal as if you're kind of like extorting them, which is what Colton was doing. Like it wasn't really like a good faith deal. It was like very much like a blackmail extortion kind of vibe.
He just wanted her to expose herself.
Yeah, there's no incentive for like Lisa to do this.
Yeah, especially since she already doesn't trust him.
Yeah, like like in order for you to successfully extort somebody, you have to have power over them. But like Lisa is the one with the power in this dynamic, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
No, Colton doesn't really make a lot of sense. And I mean, he's right on the money with thinking that she's a traitor, but the execution of all of this is just so wrong. And I feel like everyone else is conflicted with trusting him because of all of the Tiffany stuff and everything too. So like he was so outwardly in on Tiffany, and I feel like Lisa is safer with the people that don't trust Colton's judgment. So, because there was obviously people that believed him, people voted for Lisa, which we'll touch on, but I don't know. I feel like Colton doesn't have the reputation that he thinks he has.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this as well. I brought this up, I think, was it last week when we were talking about like the other faithfuls pointing out like, oh, Colton is like trying to lead the charge. He's got like a bunch of sheep following him. And I was like, what sheep? There are no sheep that are following him.
The sheep on his sweater. Those are the ones that are
exactly
following him.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's like the sheep in everyone's like collective imaginations, because there's no sheep following him. No one trusts him.
No, he's not leading the herd at all.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't really. I think he's almost kind of gotten to a point where, like, especially with this murder in plain sight, which we'll talk about as well, where it's gonna be like way too risky for the traitors to murder him, and like at a certain point, the faithfuls might realize that he is like either a completely powerless faithful, or like a traitor that they could just kind of like drag along and like banish later down the line. So that's the optimal strategy on the traitors. As like you find a traitor and then you don't banish them, and then you wait until like the final 10, 9, 8, and then you banish them then, so that they can't get recruited.
Right. And like even with the murder in plain sight that we're gonna get, like Lisa's the one that has to initiate it, and I'm sure right now she wants nothing to do with Colton. So it would be sus on her part if she just starts chatting it up with him. I mean, obviously we don't know exactly how it's gonna go down yet, but I think unfortunately it isn't like an easy like thing for her to do, because why would she just start chatting it up with Colton? And I think from what it seems, they have to like touch the amulet. So why would Colton being like, oh my God, Lisa, what a pretty amulet? Like they're just not going to talk like that. So unfortunately it will have to be someone that is kind of like that with Lisa. And honestly, I fear she may have to go for Dorinda at this point, because Dorinda is being super shady to her behind her back. And I think she's catching on to it. So
yeah, that was also my first thought as well, was that he might have to go for Dorinda, which is really bad again, because like that's the last non-traitor housewife. And if this like a housewife is a traitor kind of sticks in the ether, the only two options left are the two traitors. So.
Right. And like, but that's the thing that's like shady, is like people like if the faithfuls are thinking like, oh, like it's not a housewife up there because housewives aren't sticking around. But I also think they gave Lisa a little too much crap for the Portia vote, because based on the evidence that Ron had, like she very well could have been a traitor in their perspectives, and like she slipped up way too many times to have even been considered a good faithful too. Like she just wasn't great. And so I think Lisa had the right motives to vote for her, and people were like using that against her still, when it doesn't matter if they're a housewife or not. And was it like Natalie? She's like, I would never vote out a Survivor person. And it's like,
Right.
but you did though on Survivor. So it's like, you can't, like, I don't know. I feel like the whole thing was a bit hypocritical. And I feel like they were just kind of looking for something to be mad at Lisa for.
Yeah, I mean, hey, she's in a bad spot now. Especially with Colin openly going after her, especially if they do banish him and then he's a faithful, then they're gonna be like, all right, well, maybe Lisa is a faithful or a traitor. Let's just take a swing and see, which honestly could be better for Candace, honestly. Like, she could kind of parlay that into being like, oh man, I didn't think she was a traitor, but apparently she was the one housewife who was.
Right, because people aren't going to think that there's two housewives up there.
I don't think so.
I think that was intentional with the casting because there's never been two housewives, and there's some seasons. Has there been a housewife every season or no?
Only Pedro, right?
Yeah, I think only Pedro. Yeah. So having the idea of having two, like, that is kind of a good place for Candace, because she could be like, oh my gosh, not my fellow housewife.
Yeah.
So I think Candace is in a much better place now than when the show started. But no, Colton really screwed Lisa's position, and Dorinda's not helping.
No.
So
I do want to go back, I think, to the Portia thing. I think that the reason that people are more sus on that specifically was because the alternative in that vote was Donna, who ended up being a traitor, right? Like, I think that's kind of like the logic on that, where it's not just like her voting against Portia, it's her voting against Portia in like a semi-close vote where the alternative ended up being a traitor.
Right.
And statistically, or like on like a very like kind of base level strategy perspective, right? If the Traitors is ultimately just a numbers game, and if you have a pre-existing relationship with people, you're incentivized to keep them around, to be able to use them as numbers, which is why the whole like Tiffany is a traitor who like murdered Ian first logic made no sense to me.
Right.
Like under like pretty much no circumstance would Tiffany as a traitor ever murder Ian first. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like even from like we're playing like at a level 3, level 4, like it's still like it's not really defensible. And like for that reason, the only time you would expect like a housewife to vote against another housewife in the first round when they were a faithful and the alternative was a traitor is if they were also a traitor trying to defend the traitor. Now that's not actually what happened, because the Traitors didn't know that Donna was a traitor, but it does look bad.
And it does look bad for sure. And that's the thing that sucks in the situation is Portia. We didn't know at the time that Donna was the traitor. So Portia could have just been a really bad choice, and she could have been slipping up left and right. And I mean, I think looking back now, like they wouldn't have had a third housewife as a traitor, but the way she was slipping up made even us as the audience be like, okay, is it her? And she's just really bad at this. But I think, I mean, none of us knew that it was Donna until she exposed herself. So how was Lisa to know? So I feel like she's just back in like a bad spot, and I'm really pulling for my girl Lisa. I really want her to come back from this, so I'm gonna stay hopeful, but
I don't know, it seems tough.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it would really go well on her resume to make it to the end if she pulls through this. I think she just has to do a lot of damage control, and if Colton gets out of there sooner rather than later, I think it'll help. But I'm okay with Colton and Dorinda going. I've never seen Housewives of New York. It's just one of the franchises I never got into. But allegedly Dorinda is getting like a good girl edit, and she's actually like not a great housewife, and like she got like a really bad rep from Housewives of New York. So I guess right now she's getting like a good girl edit, and I didn't really realize that until I watched some clips back from New York, and I was like, oh, she is getting a good girl edit. But
Ron said that she said some pretty like not nice things to him that
Yes.
didn't make the edit. So
Yeah,
he
I saw
said
that.
he'll talk about it eventually. So we'll see.
Well,
Yeah,
this is good.
Yeah, I did see that too, because she was pulling out the whole like, you never asked me about my family and like all this stuff at the round table, but we could have before that could have been when she said nasty things to him. Why would he want to learn about your family if you're being nasty to him?
Yeah.
So it could be all relative in the end, but I think that that's an interesting thing to kind of keep an eye on too, because allegedly Dorinda and Lisa are supposed to be good friends outside the house, but yet she's throwing her right under the bus. So it seems as though that is pretty much on character for her.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Right.
You guys have any thoughts on the mission? I thought this was definitely the weakest mission of the season so far, which is kind of funny that like the weakest mission kind of happened also in the best episode, at least so far.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed because last year, like that was such an iconic mission with like Sandoval doing the whole like that whole thing.
Yeah.
So that was such an iconic mission, and for it to be, it was kind of lame, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like the missions are a hit or miss, whether they're lame or not. So it's just, I feel like the missions are just filler in the show, but whatever. They can be entertaining.
They got lucky that they didn't get like bugs dumped on them like they've done in previous seasons.
They probably will. Like last year, they did the one where they had their hands in the box.
All right,
Yeah, I feel like they might do something like that again. But
yeah. I mean, I like a good little like puzzle solving thing, as much as the next guy, but like it wasn't particularly compelling, and I think like I think they made the correct decision to kind of yada yada over the back half of it, right? They showed they showed the focus on who was that? Well, like Candace and Tara, I think, screw up the first round, and like they made a big deal of that, and then basically the entire rest of the mission they were just kind of like run it on 2.0 speed or whatever, 1.75 speed.
Yeah, they're like Sally Stone. Okay, yes, good, you got the money. There you go. Okay, cool. Next.
This kind of reminds me of like in Big Brother, where they're like the first person to run a comp gets like the full thing, and then the rest of them they just edit in.
Right, like a solo veto. They just go one at a time, take their time.
Yeah,
because like it probably was a more fun thing to play in person than to watch.
But I mean, it's cool. It's probably cool in person to like figure out the puzzle and like work together, and like it's probably spookier in person, but it didn't really seem like it was all that scary. Like Johnny had his hood on and he was like hiding. I'm like, it's fake blood, Johnny. Like you're fine. Like I don't know. It felt a little. They really milked it with the dramatics, but I feel like that's just typical. So
I did appreciate though that at the very least they have like realized like, oh, if the mission's a dud, just like kind of speed over it in the edit and get to the good stuff.
Yeah, it's just for shits and gigs at that point. But okay, we have to talk about Rob. Big boy Rob.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
It's like I would say his first like mistake of the game, right? Like I think he's played like a pretty clean game up until this point. I don't know. I think the vote was bad, obviously. I think he was counting votes, and that's why he was agonizing so hard and like trying to like figure out whether Lisa was gone or not. And he thought the votes were there to get Lisa out, and he wanted to be on the like good side of the vote and not, look like a traitor or whatever. And he was just wrong. Like the votes were off. It was close, but the votes were off. And I was surprised that Ron got so many votes, given like they were showing like all these people being like, oh, I don't think it's Ron. He's not really like acting like you would expect a traitor to, which correct. He wasn't. So definitely bad. I don't think it's that bad though, because like it doesn't really fundamentally change his position in the game at all. Like if you're a traitor, the best people that you can piss off are the other traitors, because they can't really do anything about it other than try and like lead a vote against you. But he's socially positioned the best, I would say, of the three of them, just on paper. So it's probably going to be a really hard thing for Lisa to do right now, especially when she has Colton she has to deal with first. Like at the very least, he's like going to be a secondary thing that she has to take care of. So I think it was not good, but I don't think it was as bad as it looks on paper.
No, I don't think it was game ruining for sure. I think the girls are definitely going to put him in timeout. And like he's definitely, I think Lisa said she's like he's going to get a spanking after this. Like like and rightfully so. I think in that moment he was too afraid of not looking like a faithful.
Yeah.
And I can understand the gameplay thought of it, and I think he in that moment I think that was a really big moment to show his loyalty to Lisa without outwardly saying like we're working together. And he didn't necessarily have to vote for Colton, and in his heart he didn't want to vote for Ron, but I think it was obvious he could probably get a vibe of the room where I mean I don't know, because like you said, people were saying I don't think it's Ron, I don't think it's Ron. So I think that's where he got conflicted, because I think he would have probably easily wrote Ron's name down if he knew everyone else was voting for him too. So I feel like he got severely conflicted in that moment, and he's going to have to pay for it, but I don't think it's going to necessarily ruin his game. If he was the deciding factor of Lisa going home, I think Candace would have had some choice words for him. But
yeah,
ultimately, I think he's still in a really great position to win this thing. And I think that him voting for Lisa just shows that he's capable of making bold moves. So I'm curious to see what he does.
I think like if it had worked out, like just give him the check now, like write it out too. We don't need to play the rest of this game. But even though it didn't, like he's not getting banished by the rest of the cast, and he can't get murdered. So
right.
Like, yeah, it's gonna be awkward. Like that turret. I mean, I guess we got a little bit of a preview of it when they were all in the kitchen, which not good. Don't all whisper to each other in the kitchen by yourselves. Yeah. But I guess because they didn't think they were going to have a chance to have it out in the turret. But when they do get back up there in private, it's going to be an uncomfortable, session for him.
Definitely. And I mean, I don't know. I think he'll be fine. I think they'll bounce back from it, especially if the murder in plain sight is successful. I think that he's just going to get a stern talking to, and I think they'll be fine, because again, the thing about Rob is he is so lovable, and like you said, he's like good with all the faithfuls, and he can't get murdered. So like he's the way his social standing is in the game is so impeccable, and I think I think he's, regardless of what he does, he can do no wrong in all the faithfuls' eyes. So but right now with Lisa and Candace, he is doing wrong. But
yeah, I think he's so he's so good looking that like it's gonna be easy for him to smooth things over with people and like charm them. I'm sure that's what happened on Love Island. I'm sure he was, very charming and whatnot. So I think he'll be fine.
He made it much further on Love Island than he should have. But he had maybe 5 different relationships when he was on Love Island.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was just, one after the other. And he stayed way too long. But again, he's Rob. And you're like, all right, Rob, you can stay, whatever.
Right.
So it's just history repeating itself. And I wouldn't be surprised if after this, he has like a Dylan Efron moment and he's on Dancing with the Stars or something like that. Like I could see this fully panning out for him. And yeah.
I mean, he's one survivor, so
I think he'd be good at that too.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would be into Dancing with the Stars, but like as a Dancing with the Stars fan, I could totally see that arc of him getting on. But we'll see. But I'm planning ahead for my future.
Yeah. Say he will be employed.
I'm being optimistic. I think Rob's okay. Rob's always gonna have a career.
Yeah.
He's too cute not to.
Yeah, I mean, like, and best case scenario for him, right, is like this murder in plain sight goes down. Maybe Colton gets murdered. Maybe somebody else gets murdered. Maybe Lisa makes it really obvious, and then she gets banished. Then he doesn't have to deal with the turret.
Yeah, that'd be good. Like, so good.
So, like, like he literally might never go back up into the turret with Lisa. Like, it's and he's
maybe
we'll see. I guess how this 8-person alliance thing kind of plays out as well. Because him being the one traitor in that, which is like this kind of majority group that Johnny and Tara and Kristen are trying to like put together.
Weren't they trying to work Candace into that somehow too?
I think they had brought her name up, but I think that the plan was that they were going to try to snipe out Colton here. They failed at orchestrating a basic majority vote somehow. And the reason I think they didn't pull in Candace was because they knew that she had been so hard on Ron for basically the entire season so far. And so like they didn't really think that she would kind of flip that way.
Right. Now Candace has to come up with a new strategy for the roundtables because she's had like a dead set run this whole time. So I'm curious to see what she does now because she had it kind of easy, sticking to her gun. She's like, it's Ron. It's Ron. I'm writing down Ron every single time. So I think now she kind of has to, I think if the smartest thing for her now is to kind of get in with that group of 8 and kind of just vote with them if they're doing the majority thing, because they were already considering pulling her in anyways. So I think she's already in a good space with that group. But then again, there's only a couple of people left that aren't in that group. So eventually they're going to have to all start turning on each other. So as long as she's on the good side of that, Rob's already on the good side of that, but as long as Candace can get on the good side of that too, I don't see Lisa getting on the good side of that. But I can see Candace and Rob kind of being in everyone's good terms. So
yeah, I mean, my prediction would be is like this Lisa Colton thing resolves in some way with one of them either getting murdered or banished or both. And then I would think that the next target's probably going to be Jam Jam, if I had to guess. Like that kind of seems like the way the like kind of story, of the game is kind of playing out.
Yeah, and like we're hearing more from Mark too. He's speaking up more too. So I think I get all my information from TikTok, I swear. But people were saying like they were silencing certain people in the beginning episodes that ended up sticking around because they weren't really relevant then, but they're relevant now. And like Mark got a lot of screen time this past episode and he was actually like speaking up and things. So I'm curious to kind of see what he does going forward. And again, there is that Dancing with the Stars connection there, so get Rob on Dancing with the Stars. But whatever, I have digressed from that. But
also just incredible hair on Mark.
That man has an amazing head of hair. Yeah. But and he puts it all the way up into a bun on Dancing with the Stars most of the time too. So, but yeah, I think that Rob is still in the best place, and I think Candace is in a much better place than Lisa is.
Yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried for Lisa. I just don't see how she can make the end game here.
I know. And like, I love her so much. And I'm like so disappointed because it's just Colton. Like, she was cruising before Colton pointed the fingers at her.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, granted, it did shake up the game. And like, that's what we want. We wanted a little something going on. But like, come on, Colton, like, just shut up. Like, gosh.
Exactly.
That's my girl. But I was worried about Candace in the beginning of the show, and now I'm worried about Lisa. It's like, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the thing, right? Where like, it's like very much a case of, especially with these like celebrities and like reality TV stars that people know, and like, you kind of have like a feel of what their personality is on TV in particular. Like, it's just like really, it's a death sentence to just act in a way that isn't what people expect you to act. So like, yeah, Candace was messy in like the first round or two of the game, with the like Portia and Michael stuff at the beginning, and then like her like throwing a sympathy vote for Tiffany and stuff like that. Like this is like kind of on paper like messy gameplay, but like that tracks with her personality, and so people aren't looking at it as like traitorous. They're looking at it as like that's just how Candace is. Like that's how she would behave, like regardless of whether she's a faithful or a traitor. Whereas like Lisa legitimately has been very quiet and like has been deliberately acting like very quiet and like playing a background role when that isn't how she historically is when she's on TV shows. And like, like whether like Colton or not, like he is correct. That is like something that you should point out, and that is like usually a relatively good tell.
Yeah, I mean, she's very publicly known for being outspoken and very much can get in your face and speak her mind and all these things. So, but she also is an actress as well. You know, she was a soap actress. So like if she wants to act, she can act. And who knows if she, like so, you know, it's like people like obviously Housewives is her biggest, you know, thing that she's known for, but she's also done a lot else too. And I think that's why what she was trying to explain to Colton. She's like, you only know like a sliver of me, and like I'm not only a housewife. It's something that I did, but it's not all that I've done. So I think I'm glad that she was said that in front of a crowd of people.
Episodes of Days of Our Life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She was on.
I know they shoot those quick, but
she was a soap actress for many years, and then she did a bunch of other stuff. She's a big QVC girl, big business owner, and like she's like a very complex person. And so like, I mean, I even understand her saying that Housewives is just a fraction of what she's done in her life. I mean, it's the most iconic thing she's done in her life, but it's not all she's about. So I think that's what she was trying to get across to Colton, and I'm glad that other people were in the room and heard that, because the people that do know her outside the house can probably vet for that. But I don't know, the people like Dorinda that know her outside the house aren't really backing her up. So
yeah, right.
Yeah, and I think once Lisa watches that back, I don't know if she's commented on it online. I'll have to check, but I could definitely see her calling Dorinda out at the reunion and being like, "Why were you egging him on? Like, if you had my back, then why were you egging him on?" So
yeah, it should be interesting. Yeah, dang, she's 183 episodes of Housewives, 600 episodes. She's a hard worker.
She has not stopped since the day she was born. She's made it very, very clear she does not stop grinding ever. She was even on.
Love that.
She even did like Nickelodeon shows and stuff like that too. Like, she has done everything. Yep. And she's married to Harry Hamlin, and that's like her pride and joy in life. So
I did see somebody. She said that she doesn't get flustered by Rob because she's used to being around someone really handsome and her husband. So.
Yeah. And I think they've been married longer than I've been alive. So like, I think she's content. She only refers to him as Harry Hamlin, like full name, Harry Hamlin. So like, she knows what she's got at home. She doesn't need to worry about it. So
no, definitely not.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I thought unfortunate that like what, you know, reality, especially on a lot of these reality game shows, like reality is reality, but like what really matters is kind of perception, and then perception becomes reality. And if like, you know, the perception of everybody in the show is that Lisa should behave a certain way, and then she's not behaving that way, you know, whether or not it's fair, or whether or not it's accurate, like that's just kind of how it's going to go.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see how this banquet turns out. Yeah. I think it'll be
so excited.
Very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, based on everything I've heard, it's going to be insane. So,
do we think that it's still going to be just like they touch the amulet and then they find out they were murdered the next morning? Or do you think Alan will say it in front of the whole group, like, "You've been murdered in plain sight"?
Yeah, I think doing it at the end of the banquet would be fun.
I think that'd be cool. Yeah.
I agree. I think that'd be so fun.
It's like they have to sit there and retrace their steps the entire time, because now everyone knows, obviously, like they've been doing it on the show now for a few seasons. So it's like everyone knows that that's a possibility that could happen. So it's like, you don't touch things, you don't drink anything, you literally just sit there and don't engage. But you could also they could make it happen in so many different ways. So I'm curious to see how Lisa goes about it and who she picks.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. Everything I've heard is everyone's hyping it up, so I love it. Do more stuff like this. Change the format up as much as possible. You know?
Yeah, keep it interesting.
Exactly.
I just think everyone's obsessed with the smoked salmon at breakfast. I don't know. It's making me.
It's probably very good.
I don't know. I don't know if I've ever had smoked salmon. It's making me want to try it. That's for sure.
I
don't think I have.
I do lox on the bagel. You know, I think that's
okay. Yeah. I think I've tried like the Trader Joe's one. They have it in like the thin sliced one. I don't know. Apparently it's delicious, and I have to try it now. Well, I don't know. I never really thought about it before. Yeah, apparently. But I guess I'll try it now. See what happens.
Yeah, the salmon that's like a big, very popular, right?
Hmm.
Like the cream cheese salmon.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my go-to.
Yeah, putting it on an everything bagel.
Yeah, and everything bagel with
Mhm.
cream cheese and then lox, red onion, and capers.
Hmm.
Gotta try it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get
Apparently.
more into seafood, so that could be a good,
Hmm.
start.
We're a pretty big seafood family, so it's not off the wall for us. So
Yeah.
no, but apparently I haven't tried it. So
All right, anything else from this episode?
no, I'm just excited to see how this banquet thing goes. So
Same here.
Mhm.
Really hype.
Yeah. Ben, anything you want to promote before we get on out of here?
No, I think that's it. It's just the season's been a lot of fun so far. I'm hoping that it continues to ramp up. We get a good end of the season, and then we're looking at Survivor 50 in less than a month until
Wow.
Survivor 50 premieres. They released a really cool preview. I would say a better preview than the one they showed at the end of season 49. So really hyped me up. I was kind of like iffy after the Survivor 49 preview because like there were parts of it that were good, parts of it that were kind of not so good. But the preview commercial thing they put out like a couple days ago was really good. So
Cool.
No, agreed.
I got into it. I was off my Survivor grind for a while, but I got back into it this past season, so I'm excited to watch.
Yes,
And
you
I
should
actually
come on
know a
for an
handful of the
episode.
people pretty well,
Yeah.
so I'm excited.
Yeah, you should join us for an episode next season. I
Mhm.
can't wait. Obviously love Survivor, so
Yeah.
very excited. But yeah, Julia, anything you want to promote?
Yeah, my new podcast, The Sure Thing, is we have a new episode coming out at the end of the week. So
Nice.
we're excited. Our first episode did really well. So
Hell
we're
yeah.
excited to keep it going. So it's always a good momentum when you get good traction right off the bat. So
Yeah.
we're excited. So
No, that's awesome.
Mhm.
And as for me, of course, check out the main channel, Wiki Good Everything, our spin-off channels, Those Fake Nerds for Nerd and Pop Culture News, as well as Wiki Good Sports. This is Better Radio, hosts all our podcasts. Earlier today, I recorded an episode with Ryan about the new Night of the Seven Kingdoms episodes. That was very fun. Go check that out. And yeah, other than that, thank you so much for watching this, and we will see you in the next one.